Here at Lee Hill, it's my 22nd year here, and I've taught first grade the whole time. And this is my son Austin. He is in first grade in the Tahoma School District.
I'm Austin Prince. I'm 8 years old. I'm in Maple Valley.
Entering kindergarten, he was diagnosed as having a learning concern. And so we went to the meeting with his teachers and we had further testing. They didn't say what it was, but it was something with language. And through his pediatrician and referral to Mary Bridge, he was given a series of tests by Dr. Laddish at Mary Bridge. And he was diagnosed with being on the autism spectrum. And he had high functioning autism, but his diagnosis had more to do with language delay, receptive and expressive language. And so based on her study, we've set up a program through school and had speech therapy and OT therapy, and he's seeing a current autism spectrum counselor. And we actually put him on medicine for his behavior because he wasn't understanding language, and we've taken little steps to try to develop his language through therapy and through this program as well, which has helped him quite a bit. He didn't understand a direct question or given a verbal direction. He couldn't decipher the language and hear it to know exactly what I wanted out of him.
I did good.
Yay! He would give something back, an answer called echolalia, of something that he had memorized either from a book or a script or a television show, because he knew at that time he needed to answer, but he didn't know how to answer back because he couldn't understand the language. He also had a lot of social inadequacies compared to children his age. He wouldn't look at people when they talked. He couldn't read body language, facial expressions. So we worked on developing those skills for him. He also tended to use the wrong pronouns, the wrong verbs when he was speaking.
Okay.
In social skills, he is more aware of what is acceptable socially. He knows that he needs to wait his turn. He needs to answer back and look at the person. The program has taught him to wait and listen. It's also really recently developed his questioning ability. He normally would try to answer without maybe understanding, and I've noticed lately that he's been asking the W questions a lot. Who or what is that? Or explain things to me where he never had before. And this program has made him listen through asking questions and the visual pictures. He can't just simply guess like other computer games. It gives him immediate feedback, and he knows if he's done something wrong, and he can see what the correct answer should have been.
Do you want to play Early Mind Matters?
Yes.
All
and
right.
do good. I am. Then after this is just one thing left after alphabet letters, we're going there. Then one more. When we get all the way to the end, then we can go home.
His behavior, we put him on medicine, as I'd mentioned. He was on Adderall for his behavior because he couldn't understand the language in kindergarten. He'd wander or get into just misbehaviors because he didn't understand. And developing his language through therapy, through this program that he was doing an awful lot there at the beginning, he made great gains in his ability to understand language and communicate back.
Okay, now
So over a vacation, we decided to take a break from the Adderall, and we found that he understood language a lot more than we thought he did. And having been assessed, we changed therapists at the medical center, children's therapy center he was going to, and so she reassessed him, and his scores weren't too well. He was obviously way below where he should have been at that time. Then through the counseling and the program that he started using here with the real pictures using the right and left hemisphere of his brains and getting immediate feedback for real life pictures, he made great gains in that area. And the therapist retested him a couple months after she had given the initial test, and he had made great gains. in his language abilities, which was just fantastic to us. We continued to leave him off the medicine because he had gained a lot of language skills, and he didn't need his behavior suppressed, which was something we didn't want to do by having him on medicine. He had a problem with eating, sleeping. He wasn't maintaining his weight, and now he's thriving. He's shot up, and he's getting along with his friends more. At recess, there's less conflicts in the classroom because he's able to communicate to the children, and he knows right from wrong. So it's really helped his growth in language an awful lot. Being a teacher and a parent, it was devastating. You know, immediately you feel like when your child has any kind of disability, you want to take ownership to that. But finding out exactly what it was,
That somebody's flushing the toilet.
finding out what that disability is and having a label for it, and then knowing where to go forward and being given resources. It's such a new thing, and we're seeing so
Okay,
much
now
autism
look at that.
spectrum that is being diagnosed to children that I think originally had been ADHD or ADD, and we tried to medicate them. Having been in the teaching profession, you know, on the flip side of that, parent versus teacher, and the teaching spectrum, you're given all these children to be responsible for, and behavior is really something that I knew had to be under control to be in a classroom setting, which I really wanted for him. But then at the same time, I understood that he had a disability. And so we refined it down, going through many specialists and many tests to find out where his delay was, and it was in language. And based upon that, I read as much as I could on it, and we started our therapy sessions, his speech therapy at school, outside therapy. He had occupational therapy to kind of, they use the alert system to control his behavior, make him aware of his behavior. But there was still so much out of his own control because he didn't understand what we were asking of him. Once we were given the diagnosis, I could go forward and get some programs, and I just happened to cross the knowledge first, having used it here at school. And I started thinking about the elements he was deficient in, and I was seeing the therapists test him in and work on certain areas.
what?
Social stories was something his speech teacher did a lot with him at school.